And we're going to go to page 145. 145. You'll notice we're getting to the back of the book. Woohoo! Always do a little party for that because that's always a good thing. But anyway, once we finish the grammar book, we'll be done with grammar for the rest of the school year, and then we'll just focus on the writing part of class. By the way, your last day of class is going to be that last Tuesday in May. And I'll remind you as we get closer. But we only have about 7 weeks left, 7 more classes, and then we're done for this school year, and then we'll have summer break, which will be nice. So we have that to look forward to. All right. Adjectives. It says in week 3, you learned that an adjective describes a noun or pronoun. We already know that. Often 2 or more adjectives come before a noun. The adjectives are coordinate if each adjective independently describes the noun that it follows. So there's a couple of different types of adjectives you're going to learn now. And the first one is called coordinate adjectives. And there's a little test that you're going to do to remind you how to determine if it's a coordinate adjective. But we're going to go on to the comma rule here. A comma is used to separate items in a sentence. Use a comma to separate coordinate adjectives. Because the order of coordinate adjectives is not important, the adjectives are separated with a comma. So if they're not important, the order of them, then you use a comma. Use a comma to separate coordinate adjectives. There are 2 tests. Now, these are little quick tests that I want you to memorize for when you come across an adjective to decide if it's a coordinate adjective or not, okay? 2 tests help determine whether the adjectives before a noun are coordinate. Can you reverse their order? That's the first test. And the second test is, can you add and between them? If you answer yes, the adjectives are coordinate. Use a comma. So if you can change the order, and if you can add the word and in between, then you use a comma. So for example, here's your example in the middle of the page. They entered the untouched thick forest. So the 2 adjectives are untouched and thick, and those 2 are describing the forest, the noun there. Do they need a comma? That's the question. So can you switch the order or reverse the order? The thick, untouched forest. Yeah, you can. You can switch those and it still makes sense. The thick, untouched forest. Okay. And then can you add and in between? The untouched and thick forest. Yes, you can. So if you can reverse them and then add the word and in between, then you know to put a comma in between. Look at this one. They entered the untouched thick forest. It's the same sentence, but there they put the comma in. Okay, so the comma goes between the 2 adjectives. Thick and untouched are coordinate adjectives and separated with a comma. And here's how you're going to fix it. All you do is add a comma between coordinate adjectives. So the example at the very bottom says, Marion was a courageous, thoughtful maid. So think about it. Can you reverse that and say Marion was a thoughtful, courageous maiden? Yeah. Can you put and in between the 2? Marion was a courageous and thoughtful maiden? Yeah, that makes sense. So you put a comma there. That's the rule. You guys have any questions about that page? Okay. Let's go here, and I'm going to have Alex read it this time. This is page 147.
The stranger, who was still annoyed because of his unjust, harsh thrashing, did not readily agree.
Good. thrashing is your vocabulary word, and that just means whipping around. You're thrashing. Like if you don't know how to swim and you accidentally fall in the pool, you're going to be thrashing around trying to get out of the water. Okay, so that is a verb, thrashing. So go ahead and check vocabulary. There's only one article, so go ahead and find that and label it. And then Matt, where are the two nouns?
They are at. They are in.
I gotta stop you right there just for a second, because I said that thrashing was a verb, and a lot of times it is, but I'm looking at the word before it says harsh, which is an adjective, and adjectives don't come before verbs, they come before nouns. So I'm just giving you a clue. Thrashing is actually going to be a noun because it has harsh and unjust before it. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's a noun. I'll just give that one away to you because that was a tricky one. And then there's one more noun.
Stranger.
Good. Stranger.
I apologize if I sound a little stuffy or
Oh, that's okay.
congested.
I understand. I've been through it too, so it's okay. Thank you. Adjectives, back to Alex.
Unjust
Yes.
and harsh.
Yes, we just talked about those two.
Readily.
Readily is going to be an adverb, actually, because it has ly.
Still.
No, think of the stranger. How did he feel? He was still
Annoyed.
Annoyed is an adjective. And then here, whose unjust, harsh thrashing?
His.
Yeah, there you go. So your adjectives are annoyed, his, unjust, harsh. And then Matt, 3 adverbs.
Those are
Most of the time they have ly, but there are a couple here that are not ly.
readily.
Readily is one. That's the easy one. And there's 2 more that, yeah.
Who? Oh, wait, no, that wouldn't make sense. Because.
No, think about the word annoyed. Still, yeah. That's actually, oops, sorry, right here. Still is an adverb. And then there's one right before readily that it also
not
functions as an adverb. Yep.
Kind of confusing.
It is a little confusing, because not is functioning as an adverb there, not readily. It goes together with readily. So it'll make more sense the more you practice that. But Alex, what about, let's come back to prepositional phrases. So what about the who, which clause?
Who was still annoyed.
Okay, yes, but you're going to keep going all the way to the noun.
Because of his unjust harsh thrashing.
There you go. All of that. Good. W/W. Matt, what about the main clause? This is a tricky one. I'll tell you that.
Those are tricky one.
Okay, so main clauses tell a complete thought. They also have to have a subject and verb pair.
The stranger who was still annoyed.
It starts here, the stranger who was still annoyed, but keep going all the way to the end, actually.
It goes all the way to the end?
All the way to the end. So you never want to stick a main clause in the middle of a who, which clause. It's just gonna include that who, which clause, because you have your subject stranger here and the verb way over here, agree, matches stranger. Okay, and remember, a main clause has to have a subject and verb pair, at least one. So that is the main clause. So, and Matt, I'm going to have you do this next part too, the subject verb pair, since we just kind of talked about it. So there is a verb inside the who, which clause, and then there's also a verb on the outside of it too. Can you see those two?
I cannot know.
Okay.
Wait. I don't know.
Okay. In the who, which clause, the verb is a linking verb. Remember, those are those smaller words that they usually go between other words. Usually like the subject and the adverb or adjective. So in the who, which clause, the word was is a verb. So we'll mark that one. And then down here, there's two verbs down here, actually, at the end of the sentence that's part of the main clause. You see those?
Yeah. So
Verbs at the end here.
so agree
Agree is one. Good.
and did.
And did. There you go. Good. That one is a linking verb right there. Okay.
Okay.
Good. You got those two. And then Matt, how about the subjects that go with them? So inside the who, which clause, do you remember what's always the subject?
Uh, I do not remember. Wait. Uh, I don't know.
That's
I
okay.
don't.
That's good to be honest. It's okay. You're still trying to remember. So who or which is going to be your subject always.
I thought everything that was already marked couldn't be marked again.
Well, the W/W is marking that whole clause. It's not marking that one word.
Oh.
Yeah, it's marking the whole clause. But
Okay.
anyway, even still, the subject a lot of times is a noun. So that's like the only one that has two things marked is the subject part of the sentence. So what's the subject in the main clause? And it does have a mark on it. It's going to be one of the nouns that's the subject.
Thrashing.
Now that's inside the who, which clause. We already
Oh
have
wait,
one there.
stranger.
There you go. Stranger. So that's the only time you're going to mark it with two things. Okay. The stranger is the subject there. And then back to Alex, what is the prepositional phrase?
Of his unjust harsh thrashing.
You're super close. It's actually because of his unjust and harsh thrashing. So remember, because is one of those words that it can either be part of a clause, a because clause, or it can be a prepositional phrase. When it has because of, that changes it to a prepositional phrase. Because of. Okay. And then the opener, Matt, what kind of an opener do we have here?
Subject opener.
Good. Do you remember what number that is?
I think that is a 3.
It's actually number 1.
Oh.
Yeah. Just put number 1 and then subject. And then it says to indent, we're just going to put a paragraph symbol right here at the beginning of that. And then, Alex, where does the capital go?
On the.
On the or the. And then how about the comma, Alex? Do you know what? Do we either need to put one in or take one out?
In between unjust and harsh.
Yes, good. And we just talked about that. That was our lesson today. When you have two adjectives that you can reverse or put and between, then you need a comma. So that is correct. Good job. And then the end mark is just going to be a period. And we're done. Okay. Any questions about this page? Nope. Okay, good. Your homework for grammar will be the next 3 pages then, as usual. And go ahead and get out your binders next. there's a couple things I want to go over with you. You guys are working on your report about troglobites. Interesting, weird cave creatures that we have. But before we get too deep into that, I want to take the time to go through this. I don't think we practiced this yet. This is page 137. It's in your packet of stuff in your front pocket. It should be. Give me a thumbs up if you have it. Okay, good. And Matt, let me know you have it when you find it.
I have it.
Okay, good. The prepositional opener. This is now on your checklist, which we're going to look at in a minute. But it begins with a preposition. The cool thing is you guys already are practicing finding these in your grammar book. Whenever you see a preposition as the beginning of the sentence, it's called a prepositional opener, and it's called a number 2 prepositional opener. Notice at the bottom of this paper, there's a great list here. I love it when they give us lists because it's so much easier to have something to look off of. So this is what I recommend for you guys, if it's okay with your parents, to tape this up on the wall by where you do your homework. If it's in your room, by a desk, or in the kitchen, near the table, wherever you normally work on stuff, if you can, if it's okay with them, tape it on the wall, and then you have it there to refer back to. The prepositional phrase begins with one of these. So it'll help you think of a sentence if you can see this list here. And now jump at the top. It has a couple of examples. The prepositional opener is a prepositional phrase placed at the beginning of the sentence. And here's 2 examples. The first one, notice that bracket with a 2. You guys see that on your page there? That is how you label these openers now from now on in your writing, because you know how you underline dress ups and you usually bold or highlight your topic clinchers. Well, now we're adding one more step. For these openers, you're going to use a number inside the brackets. So I know both of you guys type. I know Jude does too. This is a symbol on your keyboard. Mine is right next to the return button or enter button, right above it to the left a little bit. You don't have to hold shift to use it, but it's there. And I want you to use that bracket symbol with the number 2 in between when you come up with a sentence with a prepositional opener. So here's the example. Despite a lengthy childhood sickness, Teddy Roosevelt enjoyed a life of activity and adventure. That word despite is on this list. If you look down under the D's, which is A, B, C, D, here. It's like in the middle of the second column down, despite. That is a preposition, and since they use that as the first word, despite a lengthy childhood sickness, that is a prepositional phrase. So then you mark it with a 2 with the brackets. Here's the second example. In 1901, Teddy Roosevelt became the youngest president in the nation's history. N is also on this list down below. It's toward the bottom of that second column. It is a preposition. And you will open a sentence using that opener right here as an example, okay? And mark it with a 2. Here's a few notes down here, 1, 2, and 3. It says a prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and contains at least 2 words. Number 2, a prepositional phrase ends with a noun. A prepositional phrase never contains a verb. So remember that. Remember, phrases don't have verbs. There might be other words between the preposition and the noun, but there is never a verb in a prepositional phrase. Number 3, to indicate that a sentence begins with a prepositional opener, label it with a 2 in the left margin or place a 2 with the brackets. This is the one I want you to use, so forget about that one. I want you to use the 2 with the brackets right before the sentence. That's how I want you to label it. Okay. And Matt, I know you're not feeling good, but I do need your camera on so I can see you and know that you're paying attention. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I guess I muted and I pressed the camera button.
Okay. Yeah. Just keep the camera on so I can see you. And then there's a comma rule right here. It says if the prepositional phrase has 5 words or more, follow it with a comma. A comma is optional, but usually not recommended with shorter phrases. So you can see in the example up here, that first one has a comma. Despite a lengthy childhood sickness, comma. Because it's kind of a long prepositional phrase. This one is just in 1908 is basically one word and then a date, and it doesn't have a comma there. Okay, so 5 words or more, you need a comma. If it's just a short one, you don't need a comma for that. All right, so I do want to show you the checklist next. So let's look at that. That's going to be on page 139. I know you guys are already using this, but we didn't get to go over it a whole lot last time. So I wanted to show you where the sentence opener is on your checklist. It's right here. And the further along we go in this class, you're going to have more and more openers to use. So really practice that in your paragraphs. You only need one in each paragraph. See how you still have paragraph 1 has a box, paragraph 2 has a box, paragraph 3 has a box. You're going to check those one in each paragraph. Any questions about that? Okay, this is something new. I'm going to be looking for it in your writing. Okay, one more thing I want to show you, and that is a sample, a student sample of the paper about troglodytes. Okay, this is actually not one of my students, but it's from the curriculum website. They have samples there, and I wanted to show it to you just so you can see what it looks like. So let me pull this up. Week 14. Week 14, troglobite life. Okay, so here's an example of the research paper that you guys are working on. I'm just going to focus on this top paragraph. That's it. Okay. Right away, you can see some bold words. Those are topic clinchers. You guys know about that, right? Topic clinchers in each paragraph. So they have Ulm, troglobites, and strange, and Ulm's, strangest, and troglobites. Those are the topic clincher words. I also want to point out that right here, I'm going to highlight it in blue. You're going to see a number 2 with a bracket. That is a prepositional opener. That's how it should look in your document. No matter where the sentence starts, you're going to label it with a number 2 and the brackets around it. So that's for that paragraph. And then you'll see the underlined words are all the dress up. So I'm just going to read this so you can hear it and look at it as I read it. The Ulm is one of many troglobites and is a very strange creature. Being eyeless and almost colorless, the Ulm has uniquely developed to a life in a cave. An Ulm can grow 8 to 12 inches long and weigh 5 to 8 ounces, which is about the size of a deck of cards. Ulms are stygobites, meaning they live underwater 100% of the time. During hard rains, an Ulm's cave can flood, and the rushing water carries them outside of their cave, leaving them in puddles, where they will die when the sun comes out and dries the puddles. The first discovery of a troglobite, which was an Ulm, was in the 15th century. Slovenian people found dead Ulms in a puddle not far from a cave. The Slavonians assumed the Ulms were the offspring of dragons because of the Ulm's dinky legs, snake-like body, and fiery red gills. Olms have been brought into the pet industry for their dragon-like features that the Slovenians discovered years ago. An olm can live up to 100 years in captivity. Olms are one of the strangest troglobites, and they're very interesting. So that's a student example of a paragraph about olms, which is one you're going to probably write about here pretty soon. So I just wanted to show you what that prepositional phrase looks like when you have an opener there, and then the other elements of the paragraph. Okay, so now let's move on to your chart from last time with your keyword outlines. Go ahead and get that out. This one here, the big white page. Okay. So Matt, it kind of looks like you're doing something else on the computer right now. I can't tell, but okay. So you need to get out this page, which is the white page that has these keyword outlines on there and the fused outline.
I had it out already.
Okay. And you have yours out, Alex? Perfect. We're done with this one. You guys wrote your paragraph. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I think you guys kind of turned it in today, maybe. But we're going to work on the second paragraph this week. So on the back of that, I want you to turn your keyword outlines to the back. And you're going to put the same thing here, A at the top of this one. And then instead of Roman numeral 1, you're going to start with Roman numeral 2. And then it's going to be 1 through 5 again.
Wait, that's on the back of the original thing?
Yes, on the back of the one that you did last week for Roman numeral 1, you're going to turn it over, and now we're working on Roman numeral 2. Does that make sense, Matt? Okay. Roman numeral 2, 1 through 5. 5 is in parentheses. Same with B. Roman numeral 2 again. 1 through 5. 5 in parentheses. Same here for C. Roman numeral 2 again, and 1 through 5. And 5 is in parentheses. So go ahead and set that up. You're also going to do the fused outline in the bottom. Underneath B, put fused outline. Draw a line. Roman numeral 2. This time, I got to double check. It's 1 through 7. 7 is in parentheses, like that. Okay, this is part of the steps of writing a research paper. Your keyword outlines, I told you that a long time ago. You're going to be using these every time you go do a writing assignment. And when you're doing research, when you have multiple sources, that means like more than one article to read. That's when you start making A, B, C, and then a fused. That's how you do research, this method. And it's really, it is a lot of work. It does take time, but it's way easier than just reading a giant article and then trying to figure out what to write about. This is making it doable. It's a lot easier this way. So turn it back over to the front. I think you guys did your first paragraph about general info, right? Is that what you guys did your first paragraph on? So we can just cross out general info because you already wrote about that. And now we're moving on to paragraph 2, and you have a choice. You can either write about WCCF, that was the waterfall climbing cave fish, Olm, or CDRS, that was the cave dwelling rat snake. You have 3 choices. What do you guys think we should write about next? Which one of these troglobites?
The waterfall climbing cave fish.
Okay. You like that idea too, Alex?
Yeah, and the snake, the
Oh, for the
cave dwelling
paragraph?
rat snake.
Okay. Let's do the water climbing cave fish first. for paragraph 2, and then for paragraph 3, we'll do the snake one, the rat snake one. Okay, cool. So on the back, we're gonna put waterfall, climbing, cave, and then we're gonna put fish. I know that's 4 words, but that's okay. And then what I want you to do is circle the first letter in each one of these, and we'll just call it WCCF on the other outlines here. But remember, you have to spell it out when you go to write your paragraph. Don't just put WCCF. But for the outline, it's okay for you to just put WCCF, WCCF. And for the fused, I do want you to write it out, waterfall, climbing. So you remember to do that when you write your paragraph. Cave, fish, water climbing, cave, fish. So now we're ready to go. We got it all set up. And we're going to start with article A, which is called source text A. It's right here, source text A. It's called troglobites and caves. Make sure you have that. It should be labeled the paragraph about WCCF. Do you guys have that in the margin somewhere on this article? Okay, where is it, Matt?
The second one.
The second one? Okay. Yep. So the next step you probably know, I'm going to read it. You guys focus on underlining information that stands out to you that's interesting or important. Okay, that's the next step. So I'll read, you guys underline. Okay, Matt, give me a thumbs up. Good. One fish that has adapted to a troglobite life is the waterfall climbing cave fish. This creature has been found in 8 caves in Thailand and has several interesting features. The waterfall climbing cave fish has no eyes, is colorless, it has no scales, although it is truly a water-breathing fish. In the cave in which it lives, this creature's most fascinating skill is definitely its ability to climb up steep rock faces while fast-moving waters are cascading down on top of it. How does this fish hang on? Why does it want to? This fish walks like a salamander, waddling on barbed fins on the sides of its body. Evidently, the fish is seeking food somewhere. The waterfall climbing cave fish has developed amazing characteristics in order to stay alive in its cave. Interesting stuff. Did you guys get a chance to underline a few things? Good. Okay. What I'm going to do this time is just give you a few minutes because I think you guys are faster at it if you work at it by yourself. So go to A, look at what you just underlined. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes and you guys start writing down keywords in the facts and make your list here from what you underlined, and then we'll talk about it. So I'll give you about 5 minutes. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Matt, I don't really see you there, but are you working on your keyword outline?
Yeah, I just don't have a place to prop this thing up.
It's okay. I'm just checking. Okay, keep going.
I'm done.
Okay. What did you get? Tell me what your keywords are for each one of those.
For the first one, it's adapted, Thailand, interesting. And then for the second one, I have eyes, no eyes, colorless, and no scales.
Okay.
And then for the third one, I have climb, rock, moving, and then I have water as like a symbol.
Good. Okay.
And then I have number 4, I have walks like salamander.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay, good. Those are all very good. And Matt, what number are you working on right now?
I'm done. I just
Okay.
finished.
Perfect. Okay, tell me what you have.
I have eyes, waterfall, climbing, uh hang on.
Let me
I
see
have
right there really quick. On eyes, did you circle it and cross it out or put a symbol somewhere to say no eyes?
yeah,
Okay,
that's
just
what
want to
I
make
did. I crossed out. I drew a small eye and then crossed it out.
Okay. Okay, good.
Eyes, color, Thailand. The rest is the same thing Alex put.
Okay, so when you say eyes color Thailand, that doesn't really work for your keywords. Is that for number 2?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So if you're talking about Thailand, are you using a pencil or a pen right now?
pencil. Why?
Okay, because you'll have to change a couple of those words. I think it would make more sense because right here where it talks about Thailand, it says found in 8 caves. So you can put found and the number 8 and caves and then Thailand instead of eyes and color, because that's confusing the way you had it on your outline. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so erase eyes and color and put in there found and then number 8 and caves and then Thailand.
Okay, so
Yeah.
8 caves, Thailand, colorless, no scales,
Okay.
water breathing,
Okay.
uh, can climb up steep rock faces. I have a rock. I drew a rock and a face.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Is that all of it?
I have fish, walks, salamander, waddling, barred fins.
Okay, and you wrote all this down for here?
Yeah.
You did. Okay, because it sounds like you have too many. So make sure you just stop at 5.
Okay. I used a lot of symbols, but
Okay. As long as you have just the 5, that's fine. You can use a lot of symbols. That's good. All right, then. Well, let's keep going on to B next. Article B. So we're going to do the same thing here. This is on page 131 called Cave Dwellers. And Alex, what paragraph do we have the WCCF on this one?
The third one on the back.
Third one on the back. Okay, good. So same thing. I'm going to read it. You guys underline, look for those things that stand out to you that are interesting or important and underline first. Okay. The waterfall climbing cavefish, another troglobite, has several strange characteristics of which is unique. In addition to the loss of eyes and skin coloration, this cavefish has developed a decidedly different design for survival. Impressively, it is able to vertically scale waterfalls because its fins have a barb, and because its pelvic, hip bones are connected to its backbone. Being built in this way, like a land animal, the fish moves as the salamander does by walking on its unusual fins. As it climbs on the rock faces, this creature likely feeds on algae and other tiny organisms. The waterfall climbing cavefish is strange, but it has adapted in a unique way to help its species endure in an extraordinary environment. So you guys already mentioned about the no eyes and colorless. So you don't need to add that to this part of the outline. Try to pick things that you don't have written down yet on the first one, on A. So again, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so. Look at what you underlined here and transfer the keywords to this one under B.
I'm done.
Okay, good.
Done.
Oh, good. All right. Let's start with Matt this time. What do you have for your 1 through 4 right there?
I have I mentioned the rock faces again.
Okay.
Rock faces. I have I
Wait,
put
you just have like rock faces for number 1, or do you have another word?
I just have rock faces. Oh, shoot. Hang on one second. I just dropped my paper.
Oh, okay.
Which
So,
one were you working on? It fell into my paper of every single other one.
oh no.
My pile of every single paper.
Did you find it?
Yeah, but I have
Okay.
like, which one were we working on again?
We're working on Roman numeral 2 right here,
Number 2? Oh, okay.
and it's under B. And you said face, rock face, I think you put, or is that what you put for B?
Yeah, I put the rock and then the face.
I think you need the word climb with that, because really that's because if you just have rock and face, you might be like, why did I put rock and face, But it climbs that, right? So I think you should put the word climb somewhere in that part next to that.
Okay.
Okay. And then what do you have for number 2?
Dark. Uh, Wait, that's not, I don't know if that's the right place.
I think you're on a different one now.
Oh,
This
shoot.
one didn't talk about dark.
Wait, no, this is it.
Oh,
I think we're talking about the snake, aren't we?
we're we're talking about the waterfall climbing cavefish, the WCCF.
Oh, I
Not
thought we were
not
talking about a different animal.
No, we're talking about the waterfall climbing cavefish on this whole paper. We will do the snake one next week. Today,
Oh,
we're
okay.
only
So I
focusing-
have wait. If we already talked about is there like 2 sections to the cavefish or what?
Yeah, so we were on the second article here. This one was source text B. The other one was source text A. It's a completely
Yeah,
different
I'm on that.
article. Okay, on the back of that, 132, we just read this paragraph at the top. Is that what
Oh,
you have underlined?
Yeah, I have stuff underlined there.
Okay. So
Uh,
what did you write on your outline though?
Waterfall climbing,
Yeah,
cave I put cave, rock faces, climbs,
okay.
hip bones,
Hip bones, okay.
uh, barbed fins, barb.
Okay, let me
Uh,
stop there. With the hip bones, what are you gonna say about that? What's the sentence you're gonna write about the hip bones?
uh, how the hip bones are connected to the backbone.
Okay, and so I wondered if you needed the word backbone on there to remind you. You could put hip bones and then backbone.
That's probably a good idea.
And the word backbone is one word. So that would work. You could put hip bone and then backbone.
Okay.
And then go ahead and read number 3.
I have vertically scale,
Okay.
waterfall. I have de design versus wait. That's no eyes, loss of skin, coloration.
Okay. You already talked about that in A, so you don't want to say it again in B. But
Oh,
you can, instead of that, you can put something about how it moves like a salamander.
okay. So, fish, salamander. I'll put that. Uh, walking.
Maybe how it eats.
Unusual fins.
Yeah, you can put that unusual fins. Okay.
Feeds on algae
Okay.
and tiny organisms.
Okay, so can you hold up your outline to the camera so I can see what it looks like? Because you're reading more than 3 words, so I wanted to make sure you didn't
I
have.
erased it because most of it said to rewrite, but
Wait, you erased all of them?
no, this section.
I'm confused.
Can you see it?
Hold
Oh,
it.
wait,
Or
sorry.
you know what? Take off the blur background. I think that's part of the problem.
Let me figure out how to do that. Uh,
So you know how you have the video icon at the bottom left of your Zoom call? There's a menu there,
yeah.
and then you can unselect video filter, put it on like no background or something like that.
Hang on, I'm trying to find that.
Yeah,
Answer.
you're on a cell phone, so it might be hard to do, but I'm just trying to understand what you had just erased.
I erased number 3 and 4. So I
Okay.
have shoot, hang on. I'm putting in the part with the backbone. I erased part of the.
Okay. Go ahead and write that in. And
What?
then go ahead and write that in, and then when you turn in your homework this week, I want you to take a picture of your outline too, so I can see it on Google Classroom, okay?
Don't I usually
I wanna
send it
see
to you?
because I can't see it.
Do I normally send it to you? Or
Yeah, you have before. You take a picture of it with your phone or your iPad, and then you upload the picture to the assignment.
okay, so what I have now is I have Uh, climbing cavefish or waterfall climbing cavefish. Designed for survival. I have vertically scaled waterfalls and the hippo thing. And
Wait, did you say hippo or hip bone?
hip bone.
Okay, I said hippo for a second. I was like, whoa, where did the hippo come from?
I have, let me write that back in 1 second. Hang on, I'm rewriting something. I erased part of it, something that I shouldn't. Okay, now I have fish, salamander, walking, feeds, algae, tiny organisms.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Article C since we're running out of time here. I know you have yours, Alex, but I'll just see yours when you turn it in for your homework. Let's go to Article C next. That's going to be on page 133. And Alex, what paragraph do we have the information for the waterfall climbing cavefish? This is Article C.
The third one.
On the back, okay. So same thing here. On the back, on page 134. I'm going to read this paragraph about the waterfall climbing cavefish. And then I want you guys to underline interesting or important information, okay? Surviving in a pitch black cave, waterfall climbing cavefish have become bizarre looking animals. Since eyesight is unnecessary, the small critters are blind. They have also become colorless and are without scales. Why no scales? With few predators, scales, which serve as protection, are seemingly not important for these cavefish. Logically, scales must make it harder for the creatures to survive. Wouldn't the weight of scales make it more difficult for them to waddle up a waterfall to obtain food? Scales must not interfere. Because eyesight, pigmentation, and scales are counterproductive, nature has allowed them to weaken or disappear. A cave demands much more for survival than most other environments. So bizarre, waterfall climbing cavefish have developed curiously. Okay, that's interesting. So those things like eyesight, pigmentation, and scales are counterproductive. That means it works against them. So they don't need those things. So for that reason, they don't have them, right? Go ahead and I'm just going to give you a minute this time. Get started on your C keyword outline right here for letter C. So you should have letter A finished over here, and you should have letter B finished. And now we're working on C. So go ahead and look at what we just read and the things that you underlined and start working on your keyword outline under C. Let me give you a minute to work on that.
I am done.
Wow, okay, good. And we are out of time. So Matt, if you're not finished, you're gonna finish this as part of your homework, okay?
I'm almost done.
Good. So you're gonna finish up C, and then you guys are gonna go ahead and pick information from the top here, from A, B, and C, and build your fused outline. Remember, that's where you copy the facts. So if you have a fact here that says colorless and no eyes, and you want to include that, you're going to write it exactly the same way, colorless, no eyes, or whatever you have, okay? So copy down from above the facts that you want to include in your paper, and then you're going to use the fused outline to write your paragraph. This is paragraph 2. So you're going to add this paragraph under paragraph 1 that you already did. Okay, that makes sense? So paragraph 2 of your report is going to be about waterfall climbing cave fish. Put it underneath the first paragraph so it's all in one document. Okay, Matt, do you know what to do?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then your grammar pages, and then that's it for today. So I will see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.